Yeah, 5 minute call, 5 minutes for the first on course in the $35,000 ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Yeah, just about 3 minutes away from our first on course. 220 for the top of the order, and today's $35,000 ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Horseware Ireland has a proud history of leading the way in equine apparel, of tearing down barriers between horse and rider, and improving the experience of riding. This desire binds us together in everything we make. Together, through it all, since 1985, to shop Horseware Ireland's newest innovations, visit shop.horseware.com. Round one beginning on the bank side of the ring at the black vertical. Then it's down to the Bainbridge Oxer at fence number 2. Left-hand turn from there around the hedge jump to the natural Oxer at 3, and down to the first of 3 double combinations over the first round track. The palm tree double Oxer vertical at 4AB. Landing from there, it's a right-hand turn coming back to the brain juice Oxer in front of the scoreboard with the Liverpool underneath. Black vertical at 6 by the Grave, down to the Keep Flow combination at 7AB, vertical Oxer there. Horseware Ireland is skinny at 8, and then a left-hand turn coming back to the Swan Oxer at 9. Brain Java vertical double at 10AB. Florida Coast Equipment Oxer at 11, and then finishing over the Blue Butterflies at fence number 12. Our first round time allowed at 78 seconds, 47 slated for the first round of competition in today's $35,000 ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Just under 2 minutes away from our first on course this afternoon. Top of the order headed up. Again, time allowed is 78 seconds. That first round course, 15 jumping efforts in a total. Number 1 through 12 for today's $35,000 ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Welcoming our first on course this afternoon for the National this week, rider out of Canada to get us underway. Hailing from Toronto, this is Stephanie Gallucci with the 16-year-old Geldinga Cali 67, an entry owned by Artemis Equestrian Farm. First of our 47 combinations for round number 1.
Final two fences, 8 faults at 77.107. It's 8 there for Stephanie Gallucci of Canada and Cala 67.
Second on course this afternoon for the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix will be Ireland's Jordan Coyle, based in Central Valley, New York, with around aboard the 12-year-old Gelding Action T. Entry owned by the Falkirk Farm here in Wellington.
Just on forward, 72 at 241. It's 4 there for Jordan Coyle and Action T as they finish on 4.
All Our two reference times so far: 72, 241, 77, 107 from our first two riders, with that first round time allowed at 78 seconds. We'll stay there at 78 seconds for round one and today's $35,000 ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Our third in the order out of Grafton, Massachusetts. This is Katie Eppinger with the 14-year-old mare Chaco's Cherry PS by Chaco Blue.
Dolo 16 at 74, 578, 16 for Katie Eppinger there, and Chaco's Cherry PS.
Grace Deputy to join us next, and the British rider is aboard Jasperi HS. This mare, an 11-year-old Dutch bred, sired by Eldorado Vendes Shook, owned by Temple Equestrian in Hampton, Massachusetts.
Score of 8 at 76.080. It's 8 there for Grace Debney and Jasperi HS.
It'll take us to Savannah Jenkins, our fifth rider in the starting order this afternoon for the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. The ride for Elon Furter for the pilot out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. 9-year-old gelding Let's Fly and Savannah Jenkins.
Finishing on a total of 8 at 76, 468, 8 there for Savannah Jenkins, and Let's Fly.
Partnered with a 12-year-old gelding for today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. This is Tori Courts aboard semi-automatic. Amaretto Darko, the sire of the 12-year-old Belgian-bred gelding.
Score of 8 at 77, 507, 8 faults for Tori Courts and semi-automatic.
Luciano Lucio up next, the Brazilian. Aboard our 5-star Bainbridge Grand Prix winning mount from last year, Lady Luis, the 15-year-old Brazilian sport horse mare by Landario Jimin. Brazil's Luciano Lucio, our 7th for round 1 of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix.
Giving us the clear. The clear is at 74.607. Clear there for Brazil's Luciano Lucio and Lady Louise.
Right out of Brewster, New York to get the start next, and it's aboard his Marta Maddox and Susan Heller's La Serra. 11-year-old Holsteiner mare by Casal for the USA's McLean Ward.
Clear round number 2 on the board, and it's McLean Ward this time with La Serra. 73.924 goes clear in this Horseware Island Grand Prix.
2 clear through the first 8. Luciano Lucio with Lady Louise. McLean Warder with La Serra. Our penalty-free combination so far. Tiffany Foster up next. Partnered with a 10-year-old Zangers at a stallion, Anton, by Arco the third, owned by 5 roosters for Tiffany Foster.
Third clear coming from Tiffany Foster this time for the 5 roosters with Anton 74.810. So Tiffany joining McLean Ward and Luciano Lucio.
Brazil's Michelle Veitosa are next to go. It's 10th in the order this afternoon for the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. The Brazilian has arrived for Jeannie Reed of New York City with the 11-year-old gelding Oberon by Game Boy.
Total 12 at 74 for 0-7 into ninth place. 12 for Michel Fetosa and Oberon.
Lebanon's Jadana next with an entry on by Burr Associates, the Dioratos sired Diamant, 10-year-old Oldenburg gelding for Lebanon Jadana, our 11th rider on course this afternoon. 3 clear so far: Luciana Losio, McLean Ward, and Tiffany Foster.
Total of 8 overall, 75 237. It's 8 there for Jadana and Diamant.
12 to take up the challenge this afternoon as Great Britain's Jessica Mendoza. Guillaumeson, the sire of her mount, the 10-year-old hangers out of Geldinga Summer House. And Jessica Mendoza are next to show.
Going clear there for Jessica Mendoza and Summerhouse, 74.517. Clear there for the British rider joining the list. It is 4 so far in this Horseware Island Grand Prix.
And to Canada for our next combination, Sam Walker out of Nobleton, Ontario, with the 9-year-old Hanoverian Gelding Caruso PJ. Home and importance entry for Canada, Sam Walker.
Finishing on four at 75, 9.79 into sixth place. It's four there for Sam Walker and Caruso PJ.
With the four clear so far, Luciana Alonso, McLean Ward, Tiffany Foster, Jessica Mendoza. With their fault-free rounds to this point is Sarah Shiring to join us next with bull runs at Karis. The 9-year-old Dutch bred mare by Royal Fuel by Bull Run Jumpers Incorporated. Sarah Shiring with the ride.
Tillo 16 at 73, 9.48, 16 for Sarah Shiring there, and bull runs Cherise.
Pablo Mejia will be our next to tour the course in the first round of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. 15th combination to show Colombian rider and a Dutch-bred gelding. The 9-year-old about up-to-date Lontender, owned by the Newsprint Farms, New Hope, Pennsylvania, for Colombia's Pablo Mejia.
Going clear there for Pablo Mejia and Lontender at 76, 5.32. Adds the clear list, 5 clears so far in this Horseware Grand Prix.
Another rider for Brazil this afternoon, João do Carvalho. And João, the rider for Kim Farrington at LLC. 12-year-old stallion, zangerzade by Skill Z, Saito, and João do Carvalho. 16th to show, 5 clear so far.
Going clear at 76.513, clear there for João Eduardo Ferreira and Sido as they go clear too.
With our 6 clear just coming in, and our next rider on course will be another for Colombia. Based in Miami Beach, this is Andressa Quadros with her own Starsky.
For jumping, 1 for time, total of 5.78, 4.69, top 10 for Andrés Quadros and Starsky.
JJ Toronto up next, piloting the 9-year-old Saint-Français mare Good Mood, Semi by Kanan, owned by Elon Furter.
Finishing on 4 at 74.782, just the one down into 8 so far for JJ Toronto. Winner of the Grand Prix last week. This is Good Mood Semi. Great Britain's Ben Mayer hot at the back of his Grand Prix win already this afternoon. This time riding for Charlotte Roster and Pamela Wright. and it will be the 9-year-old Corlander. Well, in fact, of course, that's such a Cooksalan there for the Layla Stables of here in Wellington. And that's Cordis Totalis Z. Was due to be Ben Mayer, but there we go. It is finished on the 4 there for such a Cooksalan of Turkey.
Yeah, we're on the 6 clear so far. And next up in the order will be Gustavo Cortez, the Brazilian rider with Charlottesville, Virginia, for the Wynwood Farm. Gustavo Cortez Javier with the Wynwood Farms at Dieratos 7, 13-year-old gelding, but Dieratos. Tip of the cap there from Gustavo Cortez Javier, and Dieratos 7 retiring in the first round of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix.
And to Alexander Worthington now from Las Vegas, running for Declan McGarry, the Sweet Oak Farm. This is the Swedish warm blood, is Alcello. Well, second refuse, I'm afraid, is elimination for Alexander Worthington and Alcello.
Yeah, through 21, we have 6 on the clear list for today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. And we welcome Colombia's Mark Blumen on course with the 9-year-old gelding Penocha, owned by Norma Coelho of San Francisco.
Finished on a total of 8 at 75.209. It's 8 there for Mark Blumen of Colombia and Pinocho.
We'll see one more before the midway break, and that'll be the USA Savannah Jenkins on her second mount, hailing from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Again with the ride for Elon Furter, this time with the 9-year-old mare Colleen DeWill.
Final fence dropping. It's a total of 8 there at 72.848. It's 8 there for Savannah Jenkins and Colleen DeWill. Completes the first half of the Horseware Grand Prix so far. It's 5 clears at the moment. Second remaining group in around 10 minutes.
And today's $35,000 ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix will get back underway shortly with another 23 for round 1. Horseware Ireland has a proud history of leading the way in equine apparel, of tearing down barriers between horse and rider, and improving the experience of riding. This desire binds us together in everything we make, together, through it all, since 1985. To shop Horseware Ireland's newest innovations, visit shop.horseware.com. And we've seen 23. Another 23 to go for round one of the $35,000 ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. And to shop Horseware Ireland's newest innovations, visit shop.horseware.com. Coming out of the midway break, we have 6 clear. Brazil's Luciano Lucio with Lady Luis, McLean Water with La Serra, Tiffany Foster aboard Anton, Jessica Mendoza with Summerhouse, Pablo Mejia and Lontender, and João de Carvalho with Sato, our 6 penalty-free combination so far, and round 1. Another 23 to compete over the first round track. It's for Take 2 LLC as Vanessa Hood joins us, piloting the 12-year-old Hanoverian gelding Klitschko 17. Just before faults, the knockdown at B at the Brain Java combination for Vanessa Hood and Klitschko 17 on a time of 75.803 going into 10th. We're going to get back underway here as our next show comes up to the gate. 6 clears, Luciano Lucio, McLean Ward, Tiffany Foster, Jessica Mendoza, Pablo Mejia, João Carvalho. Our fault-free riders to this point, and our ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. It'll be Ireland's Simon McCarthy to join us next aboard Fave Dontuit. So sounding for the 10-year-old Self Francais gelding owned by Elon Furter, Fave, and Simon McCarthy. Just within. 77-358, a clear round there for Simon McCarthy with Elon Furter's Faith D'autui. That gives us a total of 7 clear now in round number 1. Simon joins the list with Joan Carvalho, Pablo Mejia, Jessica Mendoza, Tiffany Foster, McLean Ward, and Luciana Locio. Penalty-free riders so far. Another for Tiffany Foster here for round 1 of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. The Canadian now aboard H.H. Griffin van de Hafink. 13-year-old Belgian sport horse, mare owned by the Double H Farm. Pair of knockdowns, pair of time fought set for Tiffany Foster. 10, the total aboard the Double H Farms. H.H. Griffin van de Hafink, the Horseware Ireland Skinny at 8. Swan Oxer at 9. The 2 knockdowns, 2 for time as well at 79-374. But Tiffany will be back for the jump off a little later with Anton clear on her first mount in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Another rider that was clear on their first mount with us now. This is Great Britain's Jessica Mendoza, penalty-free with Summerhouse earlier in the first round. Now showing for Ammon Equestrian with the 9-year-old mare Ascarina PPZ. Front rail at the Swan Oxer. It's forward number 9 for Jessica Mendoza with Ascarina PPZ. Seven clear as Lauren Crooks Brennan joins us next. Crooner Brimbell Z, owned by Crooks Show Jumping. The route today aboard a 10-year-old Zangers at a gelding about windows van het Kosterveld.
8 jumping 2-time, total of 10 at 79,980. It's 10 there for Longcrooks, Brennan and Kroona Brimbell set.
Aboard the Irish Sport Horse Gelding CSF Jackpot. This is Alexis Bodo of Nashville, Tennessee. On a rider next to get the start for the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix.
16 jumping 10-time, total of 26 there at 87,477 for Alexis Bodo and CSF Jackpot.
Here's Sabrina Lefebvre of Quebec and her own RF Most Wanted, the 12-year-old Gelding Vegas. Holding on the 7 clear for round 1 of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Score of 8 for Sabrina Lefebvre with RF Most Wanted, with the 2 knockdowns in round 1 for the Canadian rider out of Quebec. We've seen 30 and 7 are on the clear list for the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. It's Alison Robitaille up at next. Piloting a 12-year-old Anglo-European mare, Oakingham Lyra. Alison Firestone LLC entry. First of 16 still to go.
Just on the floor there and going into 9th place at 74.676, it's Alison Robitaille and Oakingham Lyra.
Ocala-based rider Robert Blanchette now aboard an entry from Rider Smith, Watsonville, California. Irish Sport Horse gelding by Baloo Drouet. This is currently Premier Baloo and Robert Blanchette. Clear out for Robert Blanchette and Ryder Smith's currently Premier Baloo, becoming our 8th combination to qualify for the jump-off and today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. 6 on the front side of the break, 2 cents the drag break, both for Ireland, Simon McCarthy and Robert Blanchette. The ride for the Swambo Partners for our next competitor on course. This is Julie Wells aboard the 10-year-old Dutchman gelding My Boy Bill. Back row number 9 for Julie Wells and the Swambo Partners entry, my boy Bill, for the score. And into our top 12 currently at 74.679 on that 4-fault score for Julie Wells and my boy Bill. 8 to clear. Sarah Shiring joins us next aboard a gelding by Arezzo Video. This is the 10-year-old King Lepantino, owned by Cumberland Acres, Fishers, Indiana, for Sarah Shiring. Heads up at the gate, guys. Heads up at the gate. Heads up at the gate. Good to see our rider back up and on our feet, able to leave of her own volition there. Unfortunately, no score for Sarah Shiring and the King Lepantino. Eight on the clear list, and the first of those 8 to jump clear was on a rider, Luciana Locio. First of 12 remaining for round 1. Just the 4 faults with the knockdown at 9 for Luciano Lucio with that sell Oscar. Jake Endicott, and another entry owned by Elon Furter in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. This is the Belgian-bred mare Okinawa Vandermeer Hoover. Jake Endicott of Rancho Santa Fe, California, riding for the owner Elon Furter. Clear out for Jake Endicott and Okinawa, Vandermeer Hoover. This becomes our 9th combination to qualify for the jump-off round in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. We had our 6 before the drag break, and since our midway break, we've had 3 go clear. Simon McCarthy, Robert Blanchette, and Jake Endicott are qualifiers on the backside of the roller break here for round number 1. Our next on course will be Jordan Coyle and the Irishman on his second mount this afternoon out of Central Valley, New York, with the Elan Farms Ariso, 14-year-old Swedish warm-blooded gelding. Just the 4 at B of the Brain Java combination for Ireland's Jordan Coyle and Ariso. The time 74.579. It's our second fastest 4-fault time, goes into 11th. And in fact, Jordan Coyle also has our fastest 4-fault time with Action T, the Falkirk Farm entry at 72.241, sitting in 10th and 11th currently for Jordan Coyle. 9 clear so far. We had our qualifiers before the break. Luciana Locio, McLean Ward, Tiffany Foster, Jessica Mendoza, Pablo Mejia, and Joao de Carvalho. Since our midway roller break, Simon McCarthy, Robert Blanchette, and Jake Endicott have added their names to that clear list for today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Continuing with first round action, this is Sayer Happy up for the Mixtape Syndicate with the Belgian-bred gelding, the 10-year-old P. Floor, VH, and Sayer Happy. Sayer Happy, P. Floor, VH, retiring in round 1 of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. 9 clear with another 8 before we set for the jump-off round. And one of our penalty-free entries was piloted by Joao Carvalho. Clear on his first mount, Sato on by Kent Farrington LLC. This time the Brazilian showing for the Chicago-based Evergreen Stables is mount the 9-year-old Oldenburg gelding Campari. And Brazil's Joao de Carvalho. 20 there with the faults coming at 5 fences, correction, for Brazil's João Carvalho and Campari 20. The score, we will see João back in the jump off with Sato, his first mount in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Mark Blumen gets another shot at the first round at track. The Colombian is aboard con Corazon, the rider for Lucas Mejia with his 10-year-old Westphalian gelding by Cornet Obelinski. Score today for Mark Blumen with the Con Corazon. We'll see another 6 in the first round, 9 qualify for the jump off so far. Next, we'll welcome Savannah Jenkins back on course. The rider from Virginia Beach, now aboard an 11-year-old Self-France mare by Canon. This is a Escola Golf, owned by Allura Sport Horses, Moore Park, California, for Savannah Jenkins. Yeah, faulting at 3 fences, the score 12 for Savannah Jenkins and Escolero Golf. Holding on the 9 clear. Our next up will be Paige Mathias. First of our 5 remaining riders before we adjust for the jump off. Out of Lake Leland on Michigan with her own Call Me Back Pontons, a 13-year-old self-français gelding by my Lord Carthago. Just the 4 faults there for Paige Mathias and Call Me Back Pontons. Just to knock down a bead, the Keep Flow Feeds USA combination. 7B down there on the 4 faults for the rider. Out of Lake Leland on Michigan. That'll take us to Argentina's Luis Pedro Biraben and La Quadra Stables entry Georgina Ducarles. 9-year-old self-français mare by Canan. For Argentina's Luis Pedro Biraben. Still holding on the 9 clear. Rail down at 10A for Argentina's Luis Pedro Biraben and the La Quadra Stables entry Georgina Ducarles. Still with just the 9 clear, a few to go here in round number 1. Carly Anthony is up next in the order. Another Elon Furter entry in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. This is the Irish Sport Horse mare Mullintown Shalom, the 11-year-old about untouchable 27, shown by Carly Anthony.
Final fence makes it 8 in total, 75, 8-3-3, 8 there for Carly Anthony and Mullintown Shalom.
First half of our remaining 2, it's the Irishman Connor Swill with the Clonterm Obolinski. This 9-year-old Irish Sport Horse gelding by Cornet Obolinski, owned by Ollie Glansky of Longford.
Getting the clear there, Connor Swill of Ireland and Clonterm Obolinski going around in 75, 5, 5, 5.
Bringing us to our final combination for round 1 of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix this afternoon. Robert Matz with Eastern Jam, the rider from Coatesville, Pennsylvania, with a ride for Hayes Investment Corporation. Auburn, Kansas, with a 16-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Lexicon. Eastern Jam, Robert Matz, our final tandem for round 1.
Well, just the stop on course and final fence 8 jumping plus time there for the final combination for Robert Matt. So the clears, one electing not to jump off, that's Simon McCarthy. Clears came from Luciana Lucio, Lady Louise, McLean Ward, La Serra, Tiffany Foster, Anderson. It's Jessica Mendoza, Summerhouse, Pablo Villa and Lontender. Joao Pablo Ferreira and Saido. It is Rob Blanchette, Jake Endicott and Connor Swale completing the jump-off list for this Horseware Island National Grand Prix.
Just a couple of moments away from picking back up here on the Derby field with today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. $35,000 national to wrap up Spring 2. We'll have a 9 back for the jump off. 10 going clear over the first round track, but Simon McCarthy and Fave Dutuit withdrawing from the jump off round this afternoon. So we'll see Brazil's Luciano Lucio back with Lady Luis. USA's McLean Ward with La Serra. Tiffany Foster aboard Anton. Jessica Mendoza with the Summer House. Pablo Mejia and Lontender. João de Cavallo and Sato Robert Blanchette with currently Premier Baloo. Jake Endicott aboard Okinawa, Vandermeer Hoover, and it'll be Connor Swell, our final rider over the jump-off course with Ali Glansky's Klonterm Obalinski. Jump-off course beginning at fence number 3, the Natural Oxer. From there, it's down to the Palm Tree Vertical at 4B, a right-hand turn to the Brain Juice Oxer in front of the scoreboard. Black Vertical up next at number 6, down to the Keyflow Double at 7AB. Then a left-hand turn to the final 2 fences over the jump-off course, fences 1 and 2. Horseware Ireland Vertical, Bainbridge Oxer. Final 2 fences over the track. That jump-off course again, 3, 4B, 5, 6, 7AB, 1 and 2. We'll have 9 back for the jump-off in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. First in our callback order, approaching the gate. We welcome Brazil's Luciana Lucio on course as she returns our first rider to go clear. She'll have an opportunity to set the pace over the jump-off track this afternoon with the 15-year-old Brazilian sport horse mare, her own Lady Luis, for Luciana Lucio. Four over the jump-off track for Brazil's Luciana Lucio and Lady Luis. The knockdown coming at 7A, and the jump-off the time at 35.071. So the 4 faults there, 35.071 from the first of our 9 combinations over the jump-off track. Luciana Lucio with the Lady Luis. It'll be Tiffany Foster to join us next as McLean Ward with the farrier at this point. Tiffany Foster, Canadian rider with 5 roosters entry. Anton, our second of 9 for the jump-off. Luciana Lucio posting a score of 4 and a time of 35.071. Clear, and the top 36.987 for Tiffany Foster with the 5 roosters entry. Anton leading here in the jump off of the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix with another 7 to show over at the jump off course. Back underway with the jump-off round day here, our third of the 9 expected combinations. Colombia's Pablo Mejia with a long tender. 9-year-old Dutchman gelding by up to date owned by the Newsprint Farms at New Hope, Pennsylvania. Time to beat is 36.987, set by Tiffany Foster and Anton. Clearing into the lead for Colombia's Pablo Mejia with the Newsprint Farms Lontender, 35.496. It's about a second and a half faster than Tiffany Foster as the Canadian rider goes into second with the 5 roosters entry. Anton on a score of 4. Brazil's Luciano Alonso in third with Lady Luis, which through 3, Pablo Mejia leads at 35.496. Jessica Mendoza now. And the jump-off round with Summerhouse. British owner rider, our 4th to tour the short track. Time to beat is 35.496. Into the lead for Great Britain's Jessica Mendoza, a little faster, about 0.3 of a second over Colombia's Pablo Mejia. So Jessica Mendoza now leads with her own summer house, the 10-year-old gelding by Guidon Son. Pablo Mejia on tender in second, Tiffany Foster in third with Anton. And Joao de Cavallo now, and Desato, owned by Kent Farrington, LLC, chasing that new time to beat a 35-124. Double clear today for Joao de Cavallo and Desato. The jump-off time, 36.317, goes into third place for the ESP Horseware Ireland at Grand Prix. Jessica Mendoza leading on a time of 35.124. Pablo Mejia at 35.496. In second with Lontender. Brazil's Joao de Cavallo and Desato. Now our third place combination. Another 4 to go for the jump-off round, and our leading time is 35.124. Robert Blanchette joins us next with Carnley Premier Baloo on by Ryder Smith, Watsonville, California. Target time 35.124. That's a clear jump off round 36.586 is where the clock stops for Robert Blanchette and currently Premier Baloo, owned by Ryder Smith LLC. Goes into fourth place for the Irish rider. Jessica Mendoza still leads. Pablo Mejia in second. Joao de Cavallo in third. We welcome Jake Endicott back on course for today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. The ride for Elon Furter with Okinawa, Vandermeer Hoover. Time to beat us 35.124. 4 over the jump off track with a knockdown at number 6 for Jake Endicott with Elon Fritters Okinawa, Vandermeer Hoover. Time of 36.553 goes into 7th with the 4 fault score there for Jake Endicott of Rancho Santa Fe, California. Connor Swell joins us next. First of our 2 remaining riders, Klonterm Obolensky, owned by Ali Glancy. The mount for the Irishman. Time to beat at 35.124, set by Great Britain's Jessica Mendoza with Summerhouse. $37,790 on the 4 fault score. Goes into 8th for Ireland's Connor Swell with Klonterm Obolensky, owned by Ali Glancy. So just the one left to show here for the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix calfing competition for Spring 2 on the grass. It's Great Britain's Jessica Mendoza leading with Summerhouse on a time of 35.124. Pablo Mejia and Lontender in second. Brazil's João de Cavallo and Sato sitting third. Currently Robert Blanchett, Gartley Premier Baloo in fourth. Tiffany Foster rounding out the top 5 with Anton, owned by 5 roosters. Just the one left to show here for today's Grand Prix, sponsored by Horseware Ireland. A proud history of leading the way of equine apparel, tearing down barriers between horse and rider, and improving the experience of riding. This desire binds us together in everything we make together, through it all since 1985. To shop Horseware Ireland's newest innovations, visit shophorseware.com. So just the one left to show here, and the jump-off round for the ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Competition for Spring 3 starts up Wednesday morning on the grass with our 7-year-old young jumpers, and running through Saturday, with Sunday being off next week due to Easter. So competition starts Wednesday on a 4-day show week. Here on the grass field next week. We'll have those 7-year-old jumpers on Wednesday with a pair of 3-star 2 phases also on that Wednesday schedule. Thursday, we'll have the Open Meter 40 stake and our JTWG Grand Prix qualifier. Friday's action. on the grass will be highlighted by our $32,000 Meter 45 FEI Classic, but also with the Meter 40 Junior Amateur classes and Open Meter 40 classes. Last chance prep for that National Grand Prix on Saturday of next week. Then our High Classic Saturday morning, our 3-star Grand Prix sponsored by Palm Beach County Sports Commission, and our Arthur Mid-Vet National Grand Prix will cap next Saturday's action here on the Derby field. So again, competition begins Wednesday next week for Spring 3 on the grass. Final combination for the jump-off round. Back with us, we welcome McLean Ward back with his mathematics and Susan Heller's La Serra. Time to beat us 35-124. And there's your winner on a time of 33-8-49. McLean Ward with La Serra taking the top call in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. The rider out of Brewster, New York, aboard the 11-year-old Holsteiner mare by Casal. Your winning combination in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Second award will go to Jessica Mendoza with Summer House. Third, Pablo Mejia and Lone Tender, New Sprint Farms entry, New Hope, Pennsylvania. We'll get the top 3 back here in just a moment for our presentation. Fourth award goes to Brazil's João de Cavallo and Sato, owned by Kent Farrington LLC. Irish rider Robert Blanchett in 5th, with currently Premier Baloo owned by Ryder Smith, Watsonville, California. Tiffany Foster had the ride for 5 Roosters this afternoon, with Anton finishing 6th in our ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Brazil's Luciana Lucio and her own Lady Louise J. Min finish in 7th. 8th award goes to Jake Endicott, riding for Elon Furter with Okinawa Vandermeer Hoover. Connor Swell 9th with Ali Glancy's Klonterm Obolensky. Simon McCarthy clear in the first round, withdrawing from the jump-off with Fave D'autui. Another Elon Furter entry will take 10th award today. 11th and 12th place honors will go to Jordan Coyle with our fastest and second fastest 4 fault times over the first round track. 11th with Action T owned by the Falkirk Farm, and 12th with Ariso owned by Alon Farm in Newark, New Jersey. Bringing back our top three for today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Horseware Ireland has a proud history of leading the way in equine apparel, of tearing down barriers between horses and riders, and improving the experience of riding. This desire binds us together in everything we make, together through it all since 1985. To shop Horseware Ireland's newest innovations, visit shop.horseware.com. Third place rider with us for photos now. Congratulations to Colombia's Pablo Mejia. Third award today for the Newsprint Farms, New Hope, Pennsylvania, with the Lontender, 9-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by Up to Date. Second place now for photos, and Great Britain's Jessica Mendoza picks up the red rosette this afternoon with her own summer house. 10-year-old Zangers at a gelding by Guillaume Son on a time of 35:124. The leader until our final combination on the jump-off round. And that final duo was McLean Ward with La Serra. McLaren shares ownership of La Serra with the Marta Maddox and Susan Heller. Winning time at 33:849. Little over a second faster than our second place combination. Congratulations again to our top three. It's Colombia's Pablo Mejia, the winner with, or the third place honors with Lontender. Jessica Mendoza with Summerhouse in second. Blue ribbon goes to McLean Ward with his Marta Maddox, and Susan Heller's La Serra on a winning time of 33:849 to take the top call in today's ESP Horseware Ireland Grand Prix. Wraps us up on the Derby field.